I went through the detox experience after 3 days, 4 days, 3 days of it. You know, physically I'm okay again. I feel fine. And now I'm wondering, why am I doing here? What am I here for? And my arrogance is coming out, my disidentification with some of these people. And one morning, I guess the third day, I wake up, I'm playing chess. And the nurse comes over to me and asks me how I'm feeling. But she said it in a condescending way. So I responded in a condescending way. And we got in this little tit-for-tat disagreement with each other. And all of a sudden, she comes out and says to me, "You were on such a smart guy last night, my friend, when you were going through the DTs and we had to tie you in bed and give you injections of this or that, whatever tranquilizers I guess I needed." And I had no recollection of that, absolutely none. So here's a woman feeding me information that's reality, the truth, and I'm living in my bubble. I don't internalize that. I don't own that. But that was the experience I had. So even though there was a little bit of connection with the priest on the way in and the bar scene, the denial is formidable. And it's formidable for a couple of reasons. Number one, I said earlier that I don't remember feeling comfortable with myself as is. And over time, I begin to realize, or I'm conditioned to the fact that the only thing that makes me feel really okay in my own skin is a couple of beers. It's alcohol. I feel okay when I'm drinking. I feel more than okay. Sadly, I begin to feel better than, which is where the grandiosity comes into play. So I might start out with a couple of drinks and being amicable and friendly and social, and the next thing you know, I'm a few more drinks and I'm aggressive. Assertive to aggressive. So my personality is being affected by this stuff. I don't want to give that up. That's the only thing that makes me feel okay. You don't. The job doesn't. My wife doesn't. That's stress for me. This at least gives me some degree of relaxation. Of course it does. It's a chemical. Nevertheless, I'm attached to it, and I don't know that. So that's one of the reasons I don't want to give it up. I like the way it makes me feel. The second reason I don't want to give it up is because I don't want to admit to myself at the age of 26, being a policeman, presumably, which is certainly a delusion, that I'm in control of my own life. I don't want to believe that something else is controlling my life. There is a power greater than me at work here. That stuff, when it calls my name, I'm going after it. And I don't see any of this. I have to learn a lot of this. I have to go through a process to begin rehabilitation. I have to learn what's happening with me. I have to become more aware of what's going on. So from the detox, I went to rehab, which is rehabilitation. What does that really mean? Well, one of the things that's important for people to learn and to know, I think, is that rehabilitation does not fix people. Some folks think that if I send my husband or my wife or my kid to a rehab, they'll be fixed, they'll come out, they'll fine. Rehabs don't do that. My rehab experience was based on uncovering a lot of stuff that had to be uncovered, junk, things that had to be discarded in my life, and the Internal Affairs Division in the police department was going to help me do that. I didn't know that at the time. The second thing is discovery. So it was uncovering and discovery. The discovery had to maybe get some glimpses of being a good guy. There's some character assets underneath all of this stuff that's been building up over the years. And discovery of other things, that it's not, my case, it's okay to not have control of my life. It's okay to not be able to handle a drink or a drug, a day at a time. So I had to learn a lot of things. Rehabilitation is education. That's what it really was. It was reconditioning. I remember somebody saying one time, "This stuff is all brainwashing." And the guy responded and said, "Yeah, well, your brain needs some washing, especially the way it's been thinking for a number of years." So I went to the rehab. Most cops stay in a rehab for 3 weeks. 3 weeks. I was in Glen Acre Lodge, run by a fellow named Jim Cusack, who I think is on one of these tapes. 3 weeks, I was a jock. An athlete, superior performer. Jim Cusack made me the lifeguard of a pool that had no water in it. which was very appropriate for where my head was at the time. Most cops stayed 3 weeks in his rehab. I was there for 6 because I was a star performer. And the reason I was there for 6 is because I was crushed midway through my rehab experience. Nearing my 3rd week, expecting to go home, taking a nap one afternoon. I was awakened and told to come downstairs. And I walked downstairs, walk into the room with Jim Cusack, and there's one of the counselors from the counseling unit in a suit, and another man in a suit who identifies himself as a member of the department's Internal Affairs Division. And now they present me with results of an investigation that's been going on for some time about behavior and consequences that I was engaging in connected with my alcoholism that is unacceptable. And I'm in big trouble. You know, I think in order to make an intervention sometimes, to have it to make it effective, we need a crisis precipitated in our lives. All right, I had gone through the detox and the rehab, the first 3 weeks in rehab, but I really wasn't getting it. I did not grasp hold of this. The denial was still formidable. I'm still young. Maybe I can learn how to drink again. I don't know, those kinds of thoughts. Now Internal Affairs presents me with the truth, behavior I would not tell you or anyone on camera or anyone anywhere about my life, the secret life of James Devine, which is connected to my alcoholism and the way I think and my values and all, which are all. So I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble. And it looks like I'm going to get fired. It seems that way. I might get fired. The only hope that I develop is to comply. Let me comply with the experience here.